Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Remember that these videos are created to help you study while you do other stuff. Imagine a world on the brink of monumental change. Two vastly different continents about to collide, forever altering history. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, they brought with them not just ships, but ideas, diseases, animals, and plants that would reshape the lives of millions. This wasn't just an exploration, it was the beginning of an era that would connect the old world and the new world in ways no one could have imagined. But what did this mean for the indigenous peoples? And how did it shape the future of the Americas? Stick with us as we explore the impact of the Columbian Exchange and the arrival of European colonists. The story begins in 1492, a year that would echo through history books for centuries. Christopher Columbus, an ambitious navigator from Genoa, Italy, set sail under the Spanish flag, seeking a faster route to Asia. Instead of the spices and riches of the East, Columbus stumbled upon the vast and uncharted lands of the Americas. His arrival on an island in the Caribbean marked the beginning of an age of exploration and conquest. For the indigenous people, however, it was the beginning of profound and irreversible change. At first, Columbus and his men were greeted with curiosity and generosity by the Taino people. They shared food, customs, and kindness, unaware of the consequences that would soon follow. These early encounters were marked by cultural misunderstandings. Europeans saw the Americas as untapped resources waiting to be exploited, while the indigenous peoples saw the newcomers as strange visitors from afar. Little did they know, this meeting would spark a chain reaction that would ripple across continents. One of the most significant outcomes of European exploration was the Columbian Exchange, a massive transfer of plants, animals, people, and diseases between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. This exchange was revolutionary. From Europe came horses, cattle, pigs, and chickens, which transformed the way indigenous people farmed, traveled, and hunted. Imagine the Plains tribes riding horses for the first time, forever changing their hunting strategies. From the Americas, crops like maize, potatoes, tomatoes, and cacao made their way to Europe, revolutionizing diets and agricultural practices. Potatoes, in particular, became a staple in Europe, fueling population growth and economic expansion. Tomatoes changed the culinary world forever, becoming the base for iconic dishes like Italian pasta sauces. But the Columbian Exchange wasn't just about food and animals. It also brought diseases. Smallpox, measles, and influenza, diseases previously unknown in the Americas, swept through indigenous populations like wildfire. Without immunity to these foreign illnesses, entire communities were devastated. Some historians estimate that up to 90% of the indigenous population perished within decades of first contact, a staggering loss of life that reshaped the Americas. While the exchange of goods and ideas was transformative, so too was the arrival of European settlers. Spain and Portugal were the first major players in colonizing the Americas. Spain established its dominance through a mix of exploration, conquest, and colonization. The Spanish crown claimed vast territories, from Mexico and Central America to large parts of South America. Their conquests were led by figures like Hernán Cortés, who defeated the Aztec Empire, and Francisco Pizarro, who toppled the mighty Inca civilization. These conquests weren't just military victories, they were cultural upheavals. The Spanish introduced their language, religion, and social structures, often at the expense of indigenous traditions. Missions and churches were built to spread Christianity, sometimes forcibly converting local populations. The encomienda system was established, granting Spanish settlers control over indigenous labor. While this system was supposed to provide protection and religious instruction to native peoples, in reality, it often led to exploitation and abuse. The indigenous peoples didn't submit quietly. Across the Americas, resistance movements arose. One of the most notable was the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. In what is now New Mexico, the Pueblo people united against Spanish rule, temporarily driving out the colonizers and reclaiming their lands. This revolt was a testament to the resilience and strength of indigenous cultures in the face of oppression. European colonization also introduced Africans to the Americas through the transatlantic slave trade. Millions of African men, women, and children were forcibly taken from their homelands and brought to work on plantations in the Americas. This tragic chapter in history added another layer of complexity to the cultural and demographic landscape of the New World. The blending of African, European, and indigenous cultures created vibrant, yet often painful, new societies. Meanwhile, in regions like Brazil, the Portuguese carved out a different colonial path. Sugar plantations became the backbone of their economy, fueled by enslaved labor. The lucrative sugar trade drew other European powers like the Dutch, English, and French to establish their colonies, further intensifying the competition for control over the Americas. As European powers expanded their reach, they introduced new systems of governance, agriculture, and trade that reshaped the continents. Cities like Mexico City and Lima became bustling centers of commerce and culture, blending European architecture with indigenous influences. However, these advancements came at a great cost. Traditional ways of life were disrupted, sacred lands were taken, and entire cultures were forever changed. One of the more positive outcomes of this era was the blending of cultures. From food to music to religion, the Americas became a melting pot of traditions. For example, Dia de los Muertos, a celebration deeply rooted in indigenous customs, was combined with Catholic practices to create a unique holiday honoring ancestors. Similarly, African rhythms merged with European melodies to give birth to new musical styles that would evolve over centuries. But beyond the history books and facts lies a critical reflection. The era of colonization reminds us of the resilience and creativity of human cultures under pressure. While it led to unprecedented exchange and innovation, it also came with a cost that cannot be ignored. The loss of millions of lives, the erasure of traditions, and the exploitation of entire communities. This reflection serves as a call to better understand and appreciate the diversity of human experiences. It invites us to honor the enduring legacy of indigenous peoples and their contributions to the Americas. Colonization shaped the modern world, but it also teaches us lessons about respect, empathy, and the true cost of progress. The Columbian Exchange and European colonization were monumental forces that reshaped the Americas and the world. They connected continents, creating the global networks we rely on today. Yet they also remind us of the importance of respecting and preserving cultural diversity. History is not just about progress. It's about understanding the costs of that progress and honoring the resilience of those who endured it. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into the struggles and triumphs of the colonized Americas and explore how they laid the foundations for modern nations. Don't miss it. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated.